Exciting news for Apple users as the company has released a beta version of their Apple Intelligence features to developers. Here to tell us all about some of those new functions, we've got Yahoo Finance Dan Howley for this week's edition of Tech Support. You've gotten your hands on this then?
Yeah, I have it right here.
Okay.
It's still very early. I think that's something that's extremely important to point out. This is a beta for developers, not even for the public. So it's not quite finished. But what this means for the average user is that now developers are going to be able to start using this. They're going to start being able to develop some apps for it. And I've been able to use some of the features so far. I think searching in photos is actually pretty interesting. We were talking about this just before during the break, how you can search for someone at a location and it'll pull it up. I was looking for a picture of my wife at the Louvre because we're fancy, and it pulled it up no problem. You can also look for a picture of me at a bar, and there's probably 10,000 of them in my phone already. So I think that might just break it. But there's other features like the writing tools that's going to be able to change the style of your writing. It's a little hidden at this point when it comes to text. There is priority email. So I've been in the email app. It's what I use all the time. It does show priority email messages. Some of them aren't exactly what I would call priority for me right now. But the summarization is actually really helpful because I have tons of emails that are just 8 million threads long.
Yeah.
And I just want to get to it. And the summarization tool helps like that. So really, I think the big takeaway for them releasing this to developers, though, is that now they're going to be able to implement these features into their own apps.
Right.
And so that's where we're going to really start to see the AI features, generative AI features, really shine. Because Apple adding it to its own apps is helpful for sure, but it's going to be when the developers get them and start going from there. And the perfect case scenario of that, or the perfect base scenario for that, is what happened when they opened up the App Store. Apple's apps were good, but once they opened up the App Store, started letting other developers in, we saw everything just explode. Now, am I saying that it's going to be exactly like the App Store and start another economy? Not exactly, but we are going to get some really cool features, and I think worth playing with.
Dan, while we have you, Meta has also been rolling out new AI features. What do we know about their efforts there?
Yeah, so they rolled out some new open source AI features. And basically, Mark Zuckerberg has a kind of manifesto at this point where he's saying, we want open source AI to rule the day. And really, the reason why that's good is because it means that more companies, more users would be able to get access to AI rather than having to sign up for proprietary service, something like ChatGPT or something along those lines, or the advanced versions of GPT. That's Mark Zuckerberg's take. He wants to see this kind of open source project move forward with AI across the board, not just for Meta's AI offerings, but everyone's AI offerings. He's got kind of a grudge, though, for doing this, and just for a little Silicon Valley gossip, it's because he doesn't like Apple and how they're closed source, and how when he wants to update Instagram or Facebook, he can't do it the way he wants. And so he specifically called this out in his kind of call for open source AI. So it's also, it's open source and closed source. I think they both have their places. It's going to help consumers at the end of the day. It's going to help regular users when we start to see more usefulness come out of generative AI. Because right now it's still very much like the enterprise is using it. Awesome. What does that mean for everyone else? What does that mean for people who aren't necessarily using customer relationship management or something like that system? But I think it's interesting just because the gossip is fun. Just like, the head of Meta going after Tim Cook. Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. The inner workings of all of the tech companies here, fascinating to watch. Dan, thanks so much. Appreciate you tracking this. Can't wait to get my own hands on this.
It's
at some
pretty
point.
legit.
But I guess I have to upgrade my phone too. That's going to be the problem. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. 12 Pro Max is not going to cut it, I guess. All right. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.